If nothing ever changed, there'd be no butterflies. Have you ever seen a butterfly breaking out of its chrysalis? It's a struggle, one that takes time with pauses in between to break free. If you attempted to help the butterfly by breaking away parts of the chrysalis, the butterfly would be weak and unable to function, survive and thrive. A butterfly needs to struggle to develop the wing muscles to fly. Reading, listening to or watching something to gain information, ideas, processes and practices is only the beginning. The caterpillar eating leaves to fuel change. We can be trained, coached and guided by professionals and encouraged, cheered on or pushed by family and friends. And no matter who they are and how brilliant they are, we still need to digest and convert the leaves. We have to turn insight into action. We have to do the work to bring about the change we desire and feel stronger. Regardless of whether you have initiated change or change is thrust upon you, it's really useful to pause and reflect on where you are in the process. Understanding and remembering to reflect on the phases of change can be reassuring and empowering. It's not all about the struggle to break free and fly. We may not even be anywhere near the time to start pushing. Sometimes we need to eat more leaves or find new and more nourishing plants to fuel a phenomenal metamorphosis. Other times we need massive amounts of compassion for self and others because of the gooey phase. If you could see inside the chrysalis and observe the phases of change, you would notice the brain of the caterpillar dissolve. Actually, most things dissolve and become goo. Not a pretty sight. If you were just to see the goo without an explanation, it would be understandable to think, what a mess. That's never gonna fly. This is my experience time and time again with my own and others' personal transformations. Old emotions and memories and traumas get stirred up. Shadows come into the light of our awareness. It's a messy, gooey time. Not a time for pushing and striving. A time for being and allowing things to dissolve and reform in new ways. This is also a time for compassionate, clear communication with yourself and those around you. What I also think is amazing is that the muscles in the caterpillar and the butterfly are completely different, and yet many of the brain cells that signal the muscles in the caterpillar will remain the same through metamorphosis and signal the new muscles in the butterfly. That means repurposing happens when we are changing. Nothing about our life journey is ever wasted. The change process of the butterfly is not only empowering and reassuring for personal transformation. I'm sure if you pause and reflect, you can apply the process of the butterfly to other scenarios in life. The majority of my corporate career was about designing, delivering and managing change in the form of new services and technology. A lot of leaves need to be eaten to understand the as-is processes, software and hardware, plus the people involved, before then moving on to create the to-be stuff. There is always a gooey phase, a time when it really didn't look like it's going to fly. Tough emotions surface, and thinking is tricky during the gooey phase. Compassionate, effective communication is absolutely critical. Change can trigger a lot of fear in people. When the going gets tough and it's time to push, which was always the case, I would remind myself and others of the types of superpowers we would gain on the other side, like more resilience, confidence and patience, and of course new and enhanced skills. That meant we would come out stronger and fly higher in life and in our careers. The final lesson the butterfly taught me about change is probably the most important. Rest. I'm still working on it. Resting between eating lots of leaves to digest, convert and integrate. Rest in the goo. And finally, when a butterfly has struggled to freedom, they rest, whilst their wings expand and dry off. Only after a butterfly has rested can it fly. And that's where I thought this thought seed ended. Not quite. Always more to learn and embody. Here are the unexpected, beautiful thoughts that surfaced whilst rereading the intended last sentence. When a butterfly first flies off, it goes in search of nectar. And in ancient Greek myths, ambrosia was the food and drink of the gods, also referred to as the nectar of the gods. What does this mean? It means we need to celebrate, something I often forget. Celebrating our wins helps fuel the cycle of change. The new thought of going for nectar is a beautiful reminder for us to always acknowledge and celebrate our work, progress and success in a sweet way, which could be as simple and sweet as whooping and doing a happy dance. Footnote: I dedicate this thoughtseed to my beautiful friend Taylor, who so compassionately supports, guides and cheers me on. It was also Taylor who gave me the quote that inspired my painting and planted the seed of desire to one day write about my thoughts on change and the butterfly.